You know, the funniest part about this whole thing is the only person that's ever called me a nigga to my face is a black woman.
In our last video, we saw business mogul, public speaker, as well as content creator Anton Daniels letting men know, not just black men, but men in general know, get your passport.
Fellas, I've never said this before. I've never advocated for this before. I'm gonna let Quentin and How To Man have it after this.
This is crazy.
I have never ever said this that I'm about to say right now. And I didn't think that I would ever come to this point. It's time to get y'all passports.
Oh my God.
No, seriously.
Passport, bro, because
listen, fellas, look at him.
Don't want to agree with it.
Look at him.
Erasure of slavery.
Listen, fam. Listen, y'all. Look, I've never been the type of dude that advocate for because I didn't understand it. And so, listen, I apologize to every last one of these dudes
Right?
that I've ever said that you don't necessarily need a passport.
Don't get them.
I apologize to y'all.
It doesn't.
And since in his last video, he let us know what we should do, in this video, he's going to say why he said what he said. He's going to be confronting the ladies on his panel and giving honest commentary on why men in the United States, no matter what race, color, or creed, should be getting your passports. Now, we're not saying that all men are going to get their passports because we know statistically 85% of Americans don't even move out of their own cities in the United States. Yes, 85% of you will die in the same city in which you were born in. But we are talking to those men that are highly interested in relocating to other countries, establishing new cultures and new lives, and in some cases with new wives. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that he is not discussing or saying his commentary to all women, because we know no matter what race, color, or creed, that there are some really amazing women that are doing some amazing things in the United States. So for us to assume with extremes does not make any sense, such as some people have done in the comment section of the last video. So before we get started, my name is Andre of Love Crossing Borders Travel Unravel Edition. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for clicking that notification bell and clicking that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Now let's lay a foundation for the person in whom we're speaking about. We're talking about Anton Daniels, multimillionaire. He's been married to his American black wife for over 20 years. They have a daughter and a stable family. What he does on his other YouTube channel, he assists other individuals by mentoring them to put themselves in a position of economic freedom. He has been one of the individuals that's been starch against individuals such as ourselves getting passports, building new lives and new communities around the world. But once he was blind, now he sees, just like Paul, the apostle in the Bible, who once attacked the Christians and ended up being one of the number one advocate of the Christian church. So it is with Anton. He is finally seeing the light of what we've been discussing by taking a look at the product selection that most of us men in the United States were stuck with prior to using our passports. But let's not hold up. I want to get into this video. And remember, as I said before, he's not talking about all women, of course, but he is talking about a select group of women.
I'm a black woman in America. We've all experienced it. Just because you may not have experienced to a certain degree doesn't mean that the white people that you think you're sitting at the table with ain't calling your ass a nigga when you walk away, or knowing that you only dealing with you because of what you have to bring to the table as a nigga, and willing to extract every type of idea that you have and leave your ass out the door because they have the economic power to do so. All I'm saying is that just because it's not happening to you personally, if you are for the people and for the progress of black people, then you will be aware and be concerned with the fact that racism is affecting your people as a collective at a very high fucking rate.
The way that the world is set up right now, for many who are African Americans, we have the best opportunities of all black cultures in the world as a collective. In other words, even though systemic racism does exist, we still have the opportunity to progress in spite of. Now let's hear what Anton has to say, and he's going to explain to us why he has decided to support the Passport Bro movement with this statement.
Let me just say this last thing.
I'm just saying.
You know, the funniest part about this whole thing is the only person that's ever called me a nigga to my face is a black woman.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna say that. I know.
No, it's a fact.
Like you said,
it's a fact. Hold on, wait.
Like you said, then white people you be at the table with didn't call you one when they left the table and got your money.
That was my exact example. I said they're not gonna call you that.
How do you not know that they don't disrespect you because your skin color, and they only respect you because you got the money? So you have been racially.
Give me a second. We're gonna mute these.
They were hiding their face.
We're gonna mute these hyenas for 5 seconds so we.
Before he goes any further, a lot of you guys wonder why over the last year or two, the term hyena is applied to a lot of women in the United States. Well, nobody can explain it better than our fellow YouTuber friend, Chantel Simone.
Y'all see the correlation in the Black community? The moms and the babies make up the top of the clan's hierarchy. Here's what they want from the community. And she said, what did she say? She cares about the woman and the children.
So cubs have decent access to food, sleeping spots, and everything else.
Now, cubs have access to decent access to food, sleeping spots, and everything else. Y'all know the government assistance program, WIC. What WIC stand for? Woman, infant, child. I see similarities. Let us continue.
But male cubs' glory days are short. Females generally don't like mating with males from the clan they grew up in. It's probably nature's way of avoiding inbreeding.
Females don't like mating with the male in the clan they were born in, right? Same like how Black women will get on social media and praise the Brad. They can take bottom shelf Brad meaning non-Black men, even though he a dusty, as long as he white, they know how to suppress their ghetto-ness around him. But let us continue. Let's continue.
2 or so, they leave their clan and strike out on a lonely, dangerous search for a clan with better mating prospects. Lots of other mammalian males do the same thing. But for them, the transition to a new group is an opportunity to challenge high-ranking individuals and increase their social standing. Not so for male hyenas. They endure aggressive hazing by the new clan before even being allowed to join. And once a male does gain acceptance, he becomes the very lowest ranking hyena in the pecking, or bone-cracking order.
The stepdaddies have to go out and prove themselves worthy to be a part of the family, even though the kids aren't his. And even when he provide a roof over the woman's head and provide a roof over somebody else's seed head and is protecting and providing, he still don't have enough say in the household. It's still woman first.
The tastiest food rarely makes its way down to him, and there's no way to move up the social hierarchy besides simply waiting, either for new males to join the clan below him or for males ahead of him to die. No adult male will ever top a single female.
No adult male will ever top a single female, resulting in female dominance. Because no matter how hard you work, Black men, and no matter how successful you are, you will never top a female. Even then, in your own space, the manosphere that was created for men, women are going to come in and tell you how to run your space that was created for men. Let us continue.
In a female-dominated hierarchy. This is all weird. Unlike most mammals, male hyenas are subordinate to females, which is probably because, unlike most mammals, female hyenas are bigger and meaner than males.
Where else do y'all see, shout out to Kevin Samuels, where else do y'all see the woman bigger than the men? 55% of our women are obese. Over 80% are overweight. The Black woman weigh more. The average Black woman weigh more than the average Black man. Same like in the hyena clan. The women are bigger and meaner than the males. Let's talk about the meaner part now. How many Black women are so aggressive, especially in customer service, especially in HR? Black women tend to have this no nonsense attitude because all their life they had to fight, and no one is going to get one over on them.
All my life I had to fight.
Now that you guys understand what the definition of the word hyena is, let's continue to listen to Anton as he explains why he supports the Passport Bro movement in such a way. And he's going to explain it by showcasing the behavior pattern of not only women on this panel, but women in the United States in general.
You can get 5 seconds of a thought.
You see how on his own show, the one young lady just gave him the finger. I'm talking to men today. I'm talking to all you simps and all you supporters of this behavior. You expect real men who have accomplished goals to sit up there, stay in the United States, and tolerate this behavior? Is this what you're expecting of us? Because this behavior with this woman down here, by giving this man the finger, which she would not do it. She wants to talk about racism, but she would not do that if she was on a white panel in front of Zaddy. And now look, there's a Black woman is the only person that's giving him the finger on his own platform.
The only person that's ever called me a nigga to my face is a Black woman. That's number one. Number two, the only person that's ever discriminated against me are Black people. Number three, the only people that has ever carjacked me, tried to take my life, and do anything negative against me are Black people. That's a fact, though, right? So the interesting thing about it is that I find it ironic.
Absolve what white people have done.
I find it ironic that we can't even clean up our own culture, yet we want to hold other people accountable for things that we're not even experiencing. Y'all are so corny to me. And the reason that y'all corny is that y'all sit here and stand on the shoulders of giants, people that actually experience some level of discrimination, people that was actually discriminated against, people that was actually going through it, freedom riders, people that were actually trying to advocate for y'all to vote. And what I also see happening is people running in the Victim Olympics that have all the opportunity in the world, yet immigrants come over here, Black immigrants come over here in this country, and they mop the floor with y'all.
Now, I want to pause a little bit in regards to that, because I can hear the churning of a lot of you guys' minds. He's wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We can overcome. Someday, Black people, see, while you're still talking about someday, a lot of us are getting our passports and creating 2 days. Yeah, that's my job. Every day when I wake up, I create 2 days. While you're still in the United States crying about someday. And that's what Anton is talking about. For those of us that want to be progressive, that want to be the men that will establish new futures and new developments for not only for our cultures, but also for the countries in which we're going into, we're going to have to come to a conclusion that we can't rescue every person in the United States. If you move into another country, you can't be a part of the Kumbaya committee. Yes, you're still a person of color. Yes, you're African American, but yet you are an individual. Then your job is to create your todays by being an example every day.
The reality is that women are always going to complain no matter what.
And he has a platform.
That's corny.
Now, this is what he means about men. He's come to the conclusion, get your passports, because he's 100% correct. If you guys have children, I've talked to you guys who have children, women are going to complain that you aren't doing enough and not giving enough. If you don't have a child, such as I don't, and out of the 200 consultations I've done over the last year, only 7 of you guys were fathers. The rest of you women in the United States call you weirdos for not having children and being responsible. Every time I'm on Facebook and I see you guys cuddled up with these women right here, these type. Go ahead, guys. Take a good look. Like they say in the South, take a gander. Because if you don't want to take advantage of your passports, and if you think that we're liars, prove us wrong.
Usually what happens is this. This is my final point. The poorest people are usually the ones that's always complaining about what somebody else ain't doing for them. They never actually went through anything. They're not honoring their ancestors by doing the things that's best for them. They usually are the worst people for their communities. And the biggest way for you to come up on the Black community is to race hustle. So when you then go in and say, well, white people is against us, They're not actually helping you. They're enabling you to continue to be a piece of shit, to be at the bottom of the barrel, not to actually help and be productive members of society. And then they take y'all money and they say that they're building a school for the next 15 years that they're not actually building. And so it's unfortunate that y'all continue to fall for this trap. You literally in 2024 and you still talking about race relations and bullshit like that, when everything that you've ever had has enabled you to be the worst version of yourself. And the minute that you take ownership and responsibility of that, you ruined your homes, you let white women come in, and the only way that y'all got finesse from a race perspective is they leveraged y'all for feminism when that wasn't even black women fighting in the first place. And then y'all wanted to complain about what it is that you don't have when you have every single opportunity against you. And the only people that's racist is you against your own people, more importantly against the men that you open up your legs to and have children with, and then complain about whether or not they supposed to take care of y'all afterwards. Y'all are the worst people for the community. Everything that you stand for, what your lives represent, and you are actually a disgrace to the people that actually came before you that advocated for you to be free in the first place. If you want to honor your
ancestors, sound like a white supremacist.
You want to honor your ancestors, please.
Flat out.
Stop running in the victim Olympics.
That's what you sound like, sir.
Together. Stop having student loan debt so that you then be indebted and asking Biden for forgiveness and voting a certain type of way based off of what's promised to you instead of doing the thing that's in the best interest of your families. When y'all learn to be quiet and then operate based off of what it is that you're supposed to do instead of operating based off of how you feel, you'll start to have better results. In the meantime, what I know y'all gonna do is y'all gonna let this go in one ear and out the other. You're gonna be disrespectful. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna call a black man a nigga, and then you're gonna sit here and complain about what white people ain't giving you, and you're gonna continue to be a nuisance to your race. Y'all are actually the worst thing for black community. Instead of holding each other accountable, you're not doing the thing that's in your own best interest. That's the reality. The reality is that the best way for you to serve your community is stop to make excuses about why you can't do something so that somebody can actually use you for something. In the meantime, the only thing that they're using y'all for is what's in between y'all legs, and that ain't even worth nothing no more.
I'm trying to check my lie detector. Give me a second, because I'm not detecting any lies here in this commentary. He didn't say one false statement. Some of you may be sensitive to what he said. Some of you may not even like what he said. And I'm going to tell you why you don't like what he said. You want the truth? Because it reflects on some of our mothers, our aunts, our sisters, our cousins. Some of us do have these excess of baby mamas in our families. Some of us do have modern women, no matter what race, color, or creed, in our families that try to hold back men from progressing. We do have women in our families that are revengeful with their children by holding the child back from their fathers so the child does not get developed the way that the child should. Everything that he said was 100% correct. But just like he said about the women, I believe that there are a lot of us men that are like this as well. It'll go in one ear and out the other. You'll run into the comment section. You complain, trying to defend your black queens, and yet only less than 5% of us will take a passport, go to another country, and see the difference in the behavior pattern of those women compared to the embarrassing behavior pattern of the women on this panel and beyond. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a sensitive topic to a lot of individuals, and yet it had to be said. Now we understand why Anton Daniels is standing firm on his beliefs that men should start getting their passports and exploring other options in other countries. Now, I do want to meet you in the comment section, and I do want to hear what you all have to say. I'm still responding to the over 300 comments from the last video of yesterday. I want to hear more of what you guys have to say regarding this particular video and this particular topic when it comes to men finally getting our passports and zooming to other locations. Because like I always say, it is not about the sisters that we're trying to get away from, but it is about the system that we're trying to get away from. Once again, my name is Andre of Love Crossing Borders, Travel Unraveled Edition. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video when we put our lives on airplane mode.